And good afternoon, guys. Denise back again with more of this event process that we are in. I had a few people commenting about, yeah, this is fake. Yeah, we're all still slaving away, and all these bad things are going on in my life, and it's a lie, and I don't see it, and you know. All of the 3D aspect of what's going on here. And I am just telling you that you are not alone. And I even did a video, why I had to step away from this event shift. And, like I said in my last video, this has been going on before 2012. And I mean, I found out about this way long ago. And there's even people who have learned and realized this was coming, back in the 70s. And so these people, are 60, 70 years old, and they're still going, when is this happening? What's going on? And so for all of you to ask that, that is a valid question, and it is valid. It really is. And so I'm going to try to help you a little bit to get through this. And it's like a spiral. Our spiritual learning is like a spiral. And what we do is we go around and we learn something, and we're like, on top of the world, we're full of bliss, and this is so cool. All right, I see it. So we go around, and then all of a sudden, something happens, and it drags us back down. And so we have to go back around. But we by going through that little bit of that depression and dark, every time we go through that, we learn a little bit insight. And by going, you know what, I hit another plateau, and there's something that I have to learn, or I have to pull back a little bit, or there's a work that I have to do. So once we get through that, the spiral goes up and back around. So it goes around, up, and back around, up. So it's like rungs on a ladder. We get to that step, and at first we're all like, oh yeah, I see it. And then it's like, but all of a sudden nothing else is happening here. So it's up to us to keep that momentum going. And I know for those of us who are still slaving away at those jobs that they hate, my husband, that's why he gets all over my case. He's over it. He doesn't want to work this hard anymore. He's done slaving away. We build custom homes, and it's getting way too expensive. And because it's getting too expensive, people are freaking out. The trades that we hire to come in and do things are gouging with their prices. They don't do any work. They want the money, but they don't want to do the work. So, everybody's going crazy. And it's like the storm. What is it? What am I looking for here? The worst part of the storm. We're past the eye of the storm. We're on the other side of the eye of the storm. So it's bad again. And we're all like, oh, we know this is happening. We know this is coming, but here I am in all this crap, I mean, if you've listened to my videos, my dad has a grapefruit-sized tumor on his kidney, liver, and adrenals on one side of his body. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going through this damn chemo crap. I'm not supporting this dark agenda. I'm going to live my life out and, do the best that I can. Whatever, I feel good, and I'm not going to ruin that by getting their poison and paying them for them to finish me off. And my youngest daughter, who is 31, and she has a beautiful crystal son who is 3.5. She is caught up into that matrix. They diagnosed her with cervical cancer. So she's fighting that, going through her second surgery. But For a while there, we were all like, this isn't happening. This wouldn't be going on in my life. I mean, I've been doing my work. We've been doing our work. Why is all this going on? But I had to step back and really find peace in it, because I'm the matriarch of a family. And if I can't find peace, if I can't get center in my heart, it's called entrainment. And it's like, the other word we use is osmosis. So when you're with someone who their energy is really low, you kind of get an icky feeling. You just don't know what it is, but it's off. That's entrainment. That's osmosis. If you're not strong in your heart center and who you are and your beliefs, that person is going to drag you back down. And so we have to think that way, no matter what is thrown at us, who we're standing next to. When we start feeling down in the dumps and depressed and like, I can't do this anymore, that's exactly what they want from us. Because when we're down, when we're back down again, we're not doing our work and we're feeding them. They call it the loosh. We're putting up that negative energy. We're full of depression and sadness, and that's what they feed off of. That's how they can live here. That's because it's that lower vibration, and when we are putting out that vibration through entrainment and osmosis, they're just gobbling it all up, and they're just having a great time. So we have to learn to recognize the triggers that other people, okay, so I just finished a chapter in one of my books and it was just great, and I'm on cloud 9, and then my husband comes home. He had a really bad day and he starts screaming at me and telling me, things like, oh, I'm lazy and I need to get off my ass and get a job, a real job, which I've done my whole life. If I hadn't done that, he wouldn't be building custom homes right now. But he's being irrational because he's got that on his back. They're feeding off of that, and so it's hitting me, and it would bring me down, and there I am thinking, oh, none of this is happening. We're never going to get out of this. So then they're feeding on me. So first thing we have to start recognizing all of this, the organic portals out there, the soulless beings that are out there that they target the light workers. They target the spiritual warriors, whatever you want to call yourself, the empaths, the indigos, the rainbows, the crystals. The moment we're born, they have a radar on us. They know the light. They know by our vibration. And so that's why we have the inoculations and the GMOs and the 5G and the smart meters on the houses. It's all to keep us down. And so the ones who are really using their light, they're really going to hit us. They're really hitting us now. And because we came in to do this job, we had no idea how hard it was going to be. A friend of mine told me the other day that this is happening to like 300 other galaxies and planets, and we are the third hardest planet that this is happening to. So we really came here to really work. We're like in college to be a brain surgeon, if you want to use an analogy. So when we come in to help, or we come in to grow on the third hardest planet, we had no idea how hard it was going to be. And because of our energy to begin with, because we were higher vibrational beings to begin with, it hits us even harder. How can people act like this? How can people treat other people like this? How can nobody care about the bum on the street? It hits us even harder. So when it hits us that hard, it really drags us down. And that's exactly what they want from us. They want to drag us back down to the 3D. So one of the really good ways, you guys, of getting through this is like I said, recognizing it's like a war, you know, it's a game. It's like a war. It's like, okay, wow, I must be doing something right because they're really hitting me hard again this week. They left me alone. They hit me with really bad migraines. I've had one for 4 days and they just dragged me down. And, so recognizing that I must have been on the right track because they keep dragging me down. I can't get out of this job that's you know, holding me back. My family thinks I'm crazy. I'm on the edge. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody to talk to. Been there, done that. I mean, and I still go through that. And you know, it's funny because a lot of us like you and I, you know, it's like, oh, I have this friend. What? You have a friend? You know, and don't you feel like that? It's like friends. Yeah, I have no friends. You know, I go in a group of women and right away, they all hate me. They all hate me. You know, and it's like, what's up with that? Well, it's because our light is so bright. Our vibration is so high, they cannot deal with it, or they just can't see you. You know, so we have to start changing how we think about it. We have to turn it into a positive thing. It's like, okay, these people, you know, I was put in this group of people because through entrainment and osmosis, I'm supposed to help them. And I might not even ever see what I've done for them, or I might have only had to just plant a little seed for them. That's all I was supposed to do. And if I never see these women ever again, it's okay, because we have to just stay in the knowledge that we are doing our jobs. And you know, the ego is the one that wants to see the outcome all the time. You know, the ego, we want to make sure we heal that person, we heal that person, we help that person. Well, that's not how it is. You know, we are just to shine our light and change, and not even realize how many people we've helped. And you know, like my husband says, you know, I bring all these misfits home, and I want to bring all these lost animals home. And he's like, you can't fix them all, but you can fix one at a time. And if you fix one, then that one's going to change, and that one's going to go on to someone, and they're going to fix someone, and they won't even realize it's happening. So we have to stay in our heart centers. And God, you guys, Heart Math Institute, they have science to back this up. And I've talked about this before, and I've been working with this before, and it's helped me tremendously. And so I'm going to be working with people on this. But what I'd like to do right now is just give you a taste of what it is you can do. And this is something that you should really practice a lot. And before you know it, it becomes automatic. So if somebody was sent to you to knock you back down, you're going to recognize it right away, and you're going to go right to your heart center right away, and that will stop that. That will block that. Yes, it might not help you find that perfect job right away, but you might start to find the light in the situation where you're at right now. You might start to find a little bit of comfort, and you might be able to get out of bed next morning a little bit easier, and then the next morning a little bit easier, and then it's going to give you the energy, and it's going to give you the intuition, and it's going to give you the drive to get yourself out of that job or out of that bad relationship or whatever it might be that keeps dragging you down. God, I don't want to keep this long, you guys. So, okay, so the heart center, and this is something, the chakra, you know, our chakra center, this is our power center. And this is the center that they want to keep shut down, our heart center and our throat chakra. You know, because if this is shut down and this is shut down, this is shut down, this is shut down, you know. And so many of us are, you know, when we do our light work or whatever, you know, we work on all of our chakras, and you know, we think we have to work from the bottom up. That's not the case, because we always have to work on our chakras. We might have to work on our root chakra. We might have to work on our crown chakra one day. But the most important thing is to work on your heart chakra, your heart center. And I've said this before. This is our connection to our higher self. This is our connection to our true intuition. This is where we should always be reactive from. We don't be reactive from our brain. You know, this person just pissed me off. I'm going to kick the shit out of them. This person just cut me off in the road. I'm going to honk my horn. I'm going to give them the finger. That is working from the brain. And we have to shut that off and use our heart. So it's very easy. Just practice this a couple times a day. And all you're going to do is you're going to reacquaint yourself with your heart center. And you're going to sit, and it's not a meditation. You're going to sit and you're going to put your hand on your heart, and your heart actually is in the center of your body. It's more in the center of your body. You know, we're all associated. Oh, it's more to the left. But we want to be at the center of our body, and put your hand there and connect with your heart. And then you're going to want to breathe in and out. Slow breaths, like to the count of 4, count of 5, you know, and when you're doing that, you're thinking you're breathing through your heart center. And when you breathe in, it raises your heartbeat. And when you exhale, it lowers your heartbeat. And your heart has its own central nervous system. It has its own brain. And your heart is what talks to your brain. Your brain very seldom can talk to your heart. Your heart talks more to your brain. So people, this is the secret. They want us to stay out of our heart center. So by sitting, and every time somebody, you feel that, oh, I'm being targeted. There's no fear. We don't fear. Oh, I got to put up my protection. Well, when you say, oh, I got to put up my protection, it's saying, I have lack. Who I am, I have lack because I can't deal with that outside interference. So I have to put all this protection up. You know, do you understand where I'm coming from? So right away, when you recognize them coming at us, and you know, family members or friends or co-workers or the person behind you in the grocery store bumping into you because you're not up far enough, you know, those are all brought to you to keep you out of your heart center. So like I said, you can do that in the grocery store too. Put your hand on your heart and start to breathe. You can do it with your eyes open, your eyes closed, and just breathe in and out of your heart. You know, and do it for a few seconds. Do it for a minute. Okay? So that's really easy. That'll calm you down. That'll recenter you. And the more you practice that, the easier to get, and the more you will learn to deal with this outside interference. It will boost your immune system. It will, I mean, your intuition will just go crazy. It will just develop. It will bring your intuition where it's supposed to be. And that all-knowing will return. You'll just know. You know how we have moments of this epiphany where you're like, you just know something? That's because you were at that moment in a state of heart coherence. And we all have levels of heart coherence. For the most part, we're in a lower level, you know, but we can entrain ourselves to go into a medium and higher level of heart coherence. Horses and dogs, you know, my dog knows when somebody's a bad person. You ever wonder why? Because that dog can tell if that person is in heart coherence or not. You know, that person might have walked in your door and had a smile on his face, but that dog could feel what his heart rate variable was at. Now, someone who's in a state of coherence, their heart rate variable is in balance, and it's smooth, and it goes up and it's down in the same wavelength. Someone that is not, it's like this, it's like that. So their energy is the same way. So this is something simple that we can train ourselves. So when you're doing this, if you want to go a little bit further, you really, really need to feel what appreciation and gratitude feels like when you're doing this. So you want to think of something that makes you feel really happy, and someone in your life, and it's usually an animal. For us animal people, my horses. For me, when I am doing my heart coherence work and I'm plugged into my monitor on my computer, if I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to get into the high coherence, I think of Gaia right away, and I think of my appreciation for her and my gratitude from everything we get, because that's where I'm at. And right away, my numbers go up and I just level off, and I'm just like, oh, yes, 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 yes. So you have to figure out what your trigger is, what helps you recognize that feeling of bliss. Was it your son or your daughter, or the moment you got an award for this great story you wrote, or your dog. I mean, your dog is such a great teacher, because they know they're always in the state of heart coherence, except for the ones that are really, really abused. But the ones that are waiting for you to know before you're coming down the driveway, and they're waiting at the door for you, and no matter what kind of mood you're in, they're happy to see you. So patch into something that makes you feel, oh God, I could stay with this feeling all day long. So when you do your heart breathing, think about that, and then really concentrate how that makes you feel. How does that make you feel? Can you feel it in your body? Does it energize your body? Because that's another thing. Heart coherence re-energizes your heart, where all the negative and the crap takes energy away from you. It drains your battery. And so we need to keep that battery charged so they can't feed off of us. Don't charge your battery and then let them feed off of it. Don't let them have that. You guard this with your life. This is my energy. This is my work. So it's that simple, guys, but it takes practice, because they have been programming us from the moment we were slid out of our mother's womb that life is really, really hard, and we can't follow our heart. We have to work from our brains, and it's always supposed to be, it's never going to be that good for me. So we need to get out of that. And so, work with that a couple times a day, 3 times a day, and start to recognize the triggers when somebody's bringing you down. Go right away to your, working with your heart. And the more you do it, the easier it'll get. It'll get automatic. And then all of a sudden, your intuition, when a problem comes up that would take you days to figure out how to fix, it would be instantaneous. When someone's on your case and, you need to respond to them, and they've got you so flustered, you can't even come up with the right words. Well, you'll learn to stay centered, and you'll be able to respond to them, with dignity and integrity. And this is how it is. Not being reactive, or not giving your energy over to them, not losing your power. So, that's what I wanted to say, you guys. And I know it's hard, and I've been there, and I still go there. But every time I do, it gets a little bit easier to climb back out. And it's like the spiral, our spiral is getting a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger, and a little bit higher every time we go through this, and every time we recognize, aha, this is what's going on. Just being able to recognize it really helps. It really helps. I know what's going on. They're trying to trigger me again. They're trying to drag me down in depression, so I can't think about how to get myself out of this in the first place, because all I can think of is, my life sucks. I hate it. Everybody around me hates me. Well, you know, those people want you to feel just like how they feel. You know, they go home at night and they probably feel worse than you do. So, you know, the warriors and the light workers, we are being hit, we are targeted, and we have to remember that. And this is a war. It is a war, and we need to learn how to, you know, claim our power and not not feed into this anymore. And I know I have my days where all I want to do is just go sit in bed, and that's okay. If you have where your eye just need to shut off from the world, do it. And listen to yourself like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to go within. I need to be shut off from everybody because I need to recharge. That's what I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to shut off from the world for a while because I really need to recharge. They've drained me too much, and they're going to make me sick. And, you know, I'm going to get cancer, or I'm going to get autoimmune disorder or whatever. And I'm going to be in a hospital, and then they're going to give me all that crap. So, you know, if it's getting really difficult, go and recharge. Don't recharge and say, oh, poor me. I'm going to sit here and drink a bottle of wine. You know, no, that's not what you do. You go in and you go within yourself and you say, what can I do to lift this mood? Is there, show me, do you have some guidance for me? Is that maybe I need to turn on the TV? Maybe there's a movie on there, and maybe there's this really good movie that there's going to be one word in there that's going to trigger some kind of emotion within me that's going to break me out of this. This happens to me all the time. No, I don't watch horror movies or anything like it. It's got to be a good movie. I like the metaphysical movies. I like the fantasy movies, those type of things, because they'll trigger me a lot. Or a book, okay? Going to a bookstore. Anybody going to a bookstore anymore? Come on, people. Those places are great. Go in there, go in the metaphysical books section and just say, is there a book here that I need to read? And you'll be surprised at what jumps off the shelf at you. I've had books literally fall off the shelf. Or just be open. Okay, I'm open. And oh, I feel like I need to go over to this shelf. And you know, I feel like I need, oh, what's this book? Oh, you know, you'll know. I mean, we forget to do stuff like that. We're being guided all the time. So, you know, if you need to go within and you know, we're always saying that the event is within. The event is in here. It's not out here. There is guidance, but it's ultimately in here. And so, you know, people, don't give up and don't let them drag you down. And I know things are really hard. You know, yeah, it's not really a calm before the storm. We've already been through the eye. We're back in it again. And so things are really, really heating up for us, and we're having to do a lot of our inner work. We're constantly getting rid of this dark stuff that we've been shoving down. You know, we shove all this dark stuff, the stuff that we don't want to look at and we don't want to get rid of. You know, things that I had to work on for years. It's like, you know, when I wasn't always like this. I mean, when I was in my 20s, when I was a young kid, very young, before I was programmed, I knew I came in here to do something. I had a job and I was so connected with animals and nature. But then when I got in my 20s, you know, life changed and the outside world was really shutting me down. And so I was doing things back then that I am not proud of. And so I have had to go back and do my work with that and work with these things that I've done, and, you know, things that embarrassed me or things that horrified me that I could do such a thing. We beat ourselves over the head all the time. Oh God, I did that. We have to remember what we're up against. We have to remember they're at us all the time. They're not giving us a break. I mean, they're always after us, especially the light workers. They just want to ramrod us with their programming and all of their crap and their shit. So we need to go back to that. We need to go within ourselves and look at the things that we've done in the past that still seem to be blocking us. We can go back and we can forgive and we can forget and say, hey, I did this, but I'm human. I'm here on the third hardest planet of learning. And so when I started out, I wasn't really good at this. So I was making all these mistakes. And so, okay, I can forgive myself and the things that I've done, because I can understand now why I did that. I didn't know anything then that I know now. And so I'm learning, and so I can go back and soul talk to the people that I might have done thing. I mean, when my late 30s, I was nuts. I was going crazy. It's I was just crazy, and so some of these people I had to go back and just kind of soul talk with them and explain to them, I forgive myself how I treated you, because I know now why. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's like, we don't know what we don't know. I mean, think about that one. We don't know what we don't know. And so we have to stop beating ourselves over the head. We do need to go back. And this is what this period is. This is what this hard stuff is all about. It's making us go back and look at ourselves and forgive ourselves for the things that we've done. And there isn't anybody out there that hasn't done something that they're not proud of. And so, we have to stop stuffing that. We need to get rid of that. We need to let it go. We can do a releasing ceremony, use roses, use essential oil, and just, send those people love. I mean, the things that we did to animals when I was a kid. I mean, you didn't like your dog, you took it out in the woods and you shot it. Actually, I guess that was better than just taking it down the road and dumping it and making it fend for itself and freeze and everything else. But, the thing, high school boys burying cats up to their heads and running their heads over the lawnmowers. I mean, things like that now today we would just be, you just don't do that kind of stuff. No wonder we're all, us light workers are going crazy. I mean, look at what we've had to put up with and we'd had to be part of, so this is the time that we're doing this work and we're forgiving ourselves and releasing. And the more you do this, the more you're going to start digging yourself out of that trench. And the more you're going to start letting the light in, the more your light is going to start shining on the darkness. So do that heart work and, recognize the triggers, recognize the signs, know that they are doing their hardest to keep you down. And for those of you who feel the worst, it's because your light is so bright and they're working double time to keep you down. And you need to do everything you can. And yes, it's hard, it's not easy, but when you start working at it and changing your thought process, it'll start getting a little easier, and then a little easier, and then a little easier. And then you'll start seeing the good in why you're at work. And, or you'll see an outlet. Oh, this opportunity came up. What a perfect synchronicities will start happening. We'll start to recognize the synchronicities. Oh, I'm going to grab onto that. I am not going to be afraid. I'm going to grab onto that and I'm going to take that opportunity. It might be hard for, a month or so, but I don't like where I'm at right now. I'm going to change it. I go to some place, sometimes I go into stores and some of these people are just like, you can tell they hate their job. They hate you because you're there. And I just want to tell them, if you really hate your job that much, why don't you try to find a way of finding a different job, doing something different? I mean, instead of sitting around and going, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, why don't you start saying, I'm ready for a new job. Universe, bring it to me. Universe, send me the synchronicities. I know there's something out there for me. I'm open And I'm going to start listening to people, and I'm just going to start looking and watching for the signs, because there is something different out there for me, and it's going to come at the most opportune time, and it's all going to fall into place, and it will happen. So, we need to change our outlook. My husband's terrible about that. Everything is, the glass is half empty, and his life is terrible. And because they're trying to trigger me using him, they can't get to me anymore because I've been doing work. But they're like, well, we're going to use him, and he's going to drag her down. And, I used to do the same thing. I used to put up my protection and my walls, and it's like, oh, send his crap back to him. But that was just because I was feeling the lack. I had no inner power. I wasn't connected with my power center. And now it's like, no, I reclaim my power, and he can do whatever he wants. It's just going to bounce off of me, Yeah, there are moments when he confuses me or he puts doubt, but I have to recognize those, and I write those down. This happened. He made me feel this way. How can I change this? So writing it down will really help. So I've gone on too long. I think you guys get the gist of this. It's up to us to do our work, and it's up to us to crawl out of the foxhole, so to speak. So every day we'll get a little bit better. We just have to change our mindset. We have to change the programming. We have to get out of our ego. And we have to reconnect with our power center, reconnect with our heart, become reacquainted with our heart and the power that's there. You guys will be totally amazed. So that's all I got for you now. I have no idea how long this is. All right, we'll talk to you soon.